Some big news in the sports card dad household. I have made a deal to nab my #1 most wanted card of 2023.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
We're going to dive into the details. Stick around. Happy Friday to everybody. We have finally made it to the end of the week. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Guys, how we doing?
I feel pretty good too. I think I finally got some sleep.
Before I get started, a couple of quick housekeeping notes. We've got the Burbank Card Show coming up this weekend. I know that there's a lot of excitement around it. I know of a lot of people that are going to this show. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it just being on the West Coast. I'm all the way in North Carolina on the East Coast, but I do want to get to that show eventually and just kind of see the LA, Southern California card scene. I think that would be really fun. So won't make it. Peter from SGC Grading, he did mention 25% off grading services. They'll be there doing it on site at the Burbank Card Show, so definitely wanted to mention that. I'm looking forward to watching the vlogs and just getting feedback from that show and how it went. I really think it is going to be kind of the West Coast National. I know that Burbank Card Shop already does massive business, probably the largest card shop in the country and one of the most reputable. They have really gotten now into the show business. They had to move into a much larger facility this time around, so excited to see how it all pans out and to see that show as it grows. All right, the topic of the day, but the #1 card that I've been looking for in 2023, my priority this year is a 1957 Topps Bart Starr rookie card. I've made it very, very clear. Of course, I've got kind of a long want list, but I just narrowed it down to in 2023, that is the card that I want to get. And I know what you're saying is, man, how did you pull this off? You're on a buying hiatus, right? Absolutely. I am on a buying hiatus. It is something that I talked through with my wife, just kind of came up with a game plan. She already knew this was a card that I was looking for. So it actually works out perfectly because I can tie in a channel partner to help me kind of make this sale happen. DC Sports 87. I have been sending kind of low-end slabs, consolidating my collection. So we're talking $10 to $100, maybe a few that are $150 or something like that. They run the auctions for me. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do any of the eBay, the packaging, and really the fee structure very similar to if I was going to have to sell it myself on eBay. So I sent the cards off to them, and really kind of through these sales, I've been able to raise enough money to cover the majority of the cost of the card. And so this is an SGC4. I'm going to put up a picture of the one that I'm going to be getting, and it's from, this is also kind of a cool story. It's from Reed, who had written back to me back in September. I was doing a segment on the show, and it was basically like, viewers, show off your SGC slabs. And so I would get people sending me kind of new slabs that they had gotten done and just cards they were proud of that are in SGC slabs. And he emailed me with a few different options that I could use to kind of share on my channel. He said in the email, it's cool to connect personally with someone who helped bring me back into the hobby. And one of the 3 cards that he sent me was a Bart Starr rookie SGC 4.5. And I had not gotten back to him fast enough because I thought, man, this is actually a great looking copy, 4.5. And I got back to him, but unfortunately he had sold that card. So this was September 7th is when he had emailed me. And so just so you know, to clarify, when I am buying any vintage cards, my priority is surface and centering over corners and edges. And I think maybe it might be kind of a paranoid part of me to where, like, if it's got perfect corners and perfect edges, is this card ever going to turn up on some sort of trimmed list? And so I'm not as much worried about if it's got a little bit of a rounded corner, maybe a little bit of a scuff on the edge, because at least I know it probably wasn't messed with the scissors.
Out of here, it's history.
Well, Reed reached back out to me a few days ago and he said, hey man, I got a Bart Starr SGC4. I know that you are looking for the card, still looking for the card. And I thought this one really presented well. And I looked at it, and I've looked at hundreds of these cards over the last couple of years. At the National, I was bent on finding one. I was like, you know what? I know there's going to be a lot of vintage at the National. I am going to find one there. And there was some nice copies. but the thing that always stuck out, there's always one thing about it that just stuck out to me. And even the raw copies, there's people that were like, hey man, just buy a raw copy, get it graded yourself. But even the raw copies, these vintage dealers, they know what they're doing. I mean, they're not going to lose money on a very nice raw copy. So a lot of times the raw copy was selling for probably what it would sell for as a 3 or a 4 or a 5 grade. And so just couldn't make it happen at the National. I've been looking ever since. And this one really, it has nice pop of color. And granted, I'm not seeing this card in person. I've been trying to zoom in as much as I can on the picture and trying to find problems with it. And to me, it just looks like a very nice, well-centered copy. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a turned corner. I didn't see anything as far as creases go. I did also share pictures of the card with Ryan at History Through Cards YouTube channel. He's kind of my go-to for this sort of stuff. And he came back and said, hey, there might be somewhere like a hairline crease or something, but to me, other than a little bit of snow on the back, it actually looks pretty decent. A lot of times, especially in this grade, and for me, the price point is really a 4. A 6 would really be on the high end of the price point that I'm looking to buy this card in. They have started to pop up though in the wild. I remember looking back a year ago, very few of them on eBay. Now all of a sudden, starting to see more copies of this card come out of the woodwork. Oftentimes it's either they're centered, but they've got surface stuff going on, or it's got a nice surface, but it's wildly off-centered if you're looking at the mid-grade. And so this one really presents well to me. It's got the baby blue and the orange color really pops. A lot of times there's marks, whether it be a print mark, or it's a little bit faded, or there's a little bit of snow. It's just tough. It's a tough card. It's from 1957 to find, especially in mid-grade, a really nice copy. And so had to pull the trigger, was able to get a copy of this, paid a little bit more, slightly more than what you'll see on eBay sold listings for recent comps, if you will. But as you hear talked about on a lot of other channels and my channel as well, with vintage, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So surface issues might not bother you as much if you just really want nice corners, or maybe you want nice centering, not worried about the surface. And so it really just depends. So price points on vintage, they can vary greatly depending on what you're looking for. And in this case, this 4 to me looks a lot better than some of the 5s, the 6s that are out there, and felt like I needed to move on it. Because like I said, I've been looking for 18 months, 2 years for this card. I've seen a lot of different copies, and some of them have great individual things, but just kind of finding it all come together at the right price point is just not easy to do. So thank you to Reed. They also, him and his boys, have a YouTube channel. I am getting that link from him today, and I will put it in the video description. I really appreciate you working with me on this one, and thankful that the YouTube channel was able to bring me this person. Reed had reached out to me, again, to show off his SGC slabs months and months ago, and the relationship was there to where we could make a deal. And this is why we talk about the importance of the community piece. Thank you guys very much for watching. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.